me now, New York Congressman Lee Zeldin, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Lee, give me your reaction to what the president said tonight.
There wasn't a whole lot new. It's obvious ISIS is not the JV team. The president is like a bench warmer for T-ball. I mean, now's not the time for lectures or deflections from the president.
What kind of deflections?
Well, he starts talking about, well, he's lecturing us. And he wants to start talking about, gun control as if, this Muslim couple, they were ISIS sympathizers, carrying out the largest ISIS-inspired attack on American soil ever, had 12 pipe bombs in their possession, and an IED factory. That's already illegal. The fact of the matter is, I mean, the president's strategy is not one to win. It's running in place at best. You take out some of the bad guys, you disrupt some of their command and control. That's not enough to win. Our commanders aren't getting the flexibility that they need to accomplish their mission. The rules of engagement are tying their hands behind their back. Well,
you're on the Foreign Affairs Committee. I mean, when you talk about the rules of engagement, I mean, is there any, do we have an ability, does Congress have an ability to have an input on that?
Well, as far as accountability, oversight, debating, when we have the House Armed Services Committee bring in the Secretary of Defense to find out exactly what the rules of engagement are and what the evolution is going to be. The president, it didn't seem like he really said anything new tonight. But what's important is that, so the president will say to the American people, there'll be no boots on the ground. And as he'll say to the American people, there'll be no boots on the ground, he'll place more and more boots on the ground. It's just fundamentally dishonest. It is rhetoric that serves his domestic politics as opposed to serving our national security.
So then why did this is only his third address from the Oval Office. If he really didn't say anything new and several who sat in the same seat you're sitting in took issue with just about everything he said, why did he do it?
Well, the president, I don't know if he thinks that we are naive. I mean, he's playing to a group of bleeding heart liberals in the government, in the media, amongst the American public who maybe would allow him to change the subject. Instead of talking about his weakness with defeating ISIS overseas. By the way, if we don't defeat ISIS overseas, a group that cannot be contained will be facing them more and more here at home. But instead of the president zeroing in on that threat of people who want to kill us, he zeroes in on people here at home who want to kill ISIS with political victories. So for him, maybe it allows him to change the subject because Congress comes back in a session tomorrow. He'd rather have us, fighting each other, talking about some new piece of gun control legislation as opposed to strategy. But he also
talked about Congress authorizing the use of force. What was that about?
Well, so the president submitted an authorization for the use of military force earlier this year,
right,
but it actually further limits his ability than what he is authorized to do right now under the current authorization for the use of military force. So it was bizarre that he would present to us an authorization for use of military force, ask us to pass it, and he is actually asking Congress to tie his hands behind his back.